Ari, Ryan Day beat Tennessee, beat the crap out of Tennessee. Everything's okay now, right?
No, not everything's okay.
I love that sigh.
Well, because it is such a complex thing.
This is one of the strangest coaching situations you'll ever see.
Yeah. So I lived here, and I remind people a lot, but I lived here for 10 years.
We're in Columbus, by the way.
In Columbus, filming these videos. And I covered Ohio State for 10 years. I think I have a unique perspective of what people feel and how Ohio State fans react to things and what they want. And obviously you can't speak for everybody because everybody's different. I think the main thing that you would want to do, or people that haven't lived here for 10 years want to do, is they beat the crap out of Tennessee. They're back in business. They could win the national title and all that stuff. But in this particular scenario, and maybe I'm off on it, I can't help but look backward. Like I cannot help it, because
the press conference after the Tennessee win, they beat Tennessee 42-17 in a college football playoff game. And the first two questions in the press conference by people who are good, who cover Ohio State, good at their jobs, and they were good, legitimate questions that those people's readers and viewers and listeners wanted to hear the answers to. Both of them were about Michigan, essentially. The first one was, where's this performance been hiding? The second one was even more blunt. Essentially, why didn't you do this against Michigan? Like, that's how it works here.
Yeah. And, the thing that I just cannot get past, because we're talking about Ryan Day right now. We're not talking about Ohio State. Those are two different scenarios. We just got done doing a video about Ohio State and what they could do this year. That is a separate topic from the coach.
Right.
Do you agree?
I do.
So I think when you're talking about Ohio State, the sky is the ceiling, or the sky.
The ceiling is the roof. That's what Michael Jordan said.
Whatever Biggie Smalls said.
It was Michael Jordan.
I'm looking at a story because I'm trying to figure it out, but I'm just trying to think, like, how big does the mental block have to be? And I thought about this as I saw John Cooper come up the elevator as we were doing our video in Ohio Stadium and going down at the end of the game. How big does the mental block have to be for Ohio State to put what they put out on the field against Michigan? And I feel like, as redeeming as the win over Tennessee is for Ryan Day, Andy, it's so much more frustrating for Ohio State fans, because his job is to draw that out of them in the game they care about the most. And here's the actual reality of it. Last night's game, the win against Tennessee, doesn't mean anything if they don't finish the job.
Right.
They're not going to, this didn't save him. This isn't absolving him, which is what you wrote. They have 3 goals at the beginning of every year: beat Michigan, win the Big Ten, win a national championship. They have done none since 2020.
Right.
And they still have done none this year.
And they failed on the first two. And what's interesting is they're about to play the team that has actually accomplished the first two.
Yeah, right. And
although Oregon would say beat Washington, which they did.
And I keep saying I'm going to look this up. I don't know when the last time Ohio State had a senior class come through, not beat Michigan or win the Big Ten or anything. Like, it's like winning a national title is hard. And he put himself in a position where it feels like he's coaching for his future, whether it be a self-imposed future, in terms of what he decides to do or whatever. It doesn't seem tenable that he'll remain the coach if they lose. And the reason why is because they lost to Michigan.
Now, here's my thing, Ari. If I'm an Ohio State fan watching this, I'm getting mad at you now because
you're excited in the moment.
Because you're bringing up the Michigan game again, and I'm trying to move past that.
And we're talking about Ryan Day. You can't move past it. You can't. We can move past. Do we say Michigan once in the Oregon preview? I don't think so.
We didn't mention it all.
But this is a completely different topic, and that's like the heart of what you cannot discuss Ryan Day without discussing that. And the fact of the matter is, when he cashes those checks that he gets, which is $10 million a year roughly, he knows what he's signing up for. If he were sitting in between us right now, he would know he can't do that. Like, it's not like I'm saying something. You're holding the program to the standard that it puts out on its own. I'm not making this up.
And the thing is, like, I understand this. I've covered how many coaching searches at Florida in the past 10 years because they expect to win national championships. I've covered Alabama. I've covered Tennessee, covered Auburn, LSU. Like, these are all places that feel the same way. But the difference is, and I think this is the distinction that I'm noticing here, is all of those could care less about one individual game result during a season as long as their team wins the national title, because that is the job.
It's different here.
It's different at Ohio State.
Because you can excuse any other loss. No one talks about the Oregon loss anymore.
Right.
It's not a thing.
But the thing is, like, we can argue that the Iron Bowl is as important to Alabama and Auburn people as the game is to Michigan and Ohio State.
You've lived that more than me. You tell me. You've been here.
It is. But the difference is we've seen Alabama lose the Iron Bowl and win the national title, and the fans did not give a crap that they lost the Iron Bowl.
Yeah,
that year. So once they won the national
Ohio State
title,
wins the national championship, there will be a sinking feeling. I'm not saying they won't enjoy it or savor it or celebrate it. Of course they will. It's a national title, but it won't be 100% perfect. That there will still be
there are
no
no
nagging pain.
There are very few perfect national titles anymore. I guess Michigan had one last year.
No, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to be undefeated. Ohio State's 14 title was perfect, and they lost to Virginia Tech at home in week 2.
Yeah.
They don't go back and go, oh, I cannot believe we lost. No, but like there will be people. I mean, the essence of being a fan is being able to talk garbage. You're going to hold a national title over Michigan's head, and they're going to be like, yeah, dude, we beat you. Like right. That. There was something.
They also just won one, which I think that also makes that a little tougher.
But yeah, so like for me, contextualizing Ryan Day is difficult because here's the other thing that has to be acknowledged, because it's not all doom and gloom.
Right.
Is that
he's 67-10?
Yeah, and I don't care about the record. That's the other thing. He doesn't get paid to beat Maryland and Purdue. But you know, you laugh, but his record is the least important thing. The goals are the thing. It's not the record. But he has also, in the same breath, assembled a team and continues to assemble teams every year where in December, whether they beat Michigan or not, they are good enough to beat anybody in the country.
So do you know who we're talking about right now? We're talking about Kirby Smart going into the 2021 season. Every year he assembles a team that's good enough to be in the mix for the national title. Can they beat Alabama? We don't know, but eventually they might.
Yeah, well, and that's also interesting because people, I wrote a column about this topic today on On3, and some responses are, you know, Kirby Smart was in a similar position. I don't know that's 100%. Nobody
was talking about firing Kirby Smart because there was not. Now, there was
people
a level of
frustration.
Right, there was frustration with the record against Alabama, but they didn't play Alabama every season. Alabama wasn't on the schedule.
I mean, Josh Heupel had a 100% approval rate from his fans coming into the game. There's people who are frustrated. It's not the same thing.
Right,
people didn't go to the game on Saturday because they hate.
Now, I will say, I think after the 2019 SEC championship game, I remember being in Kirby Smart's press conference.
Game?
No, that was 2018. 2019 was when they got slaughtered by LSU, but.
Everybody got slaughtered by LSU.
Well, but the question was at that point, is Kirby ever going to figure out the offense? Is Kirby ever going to have an offense that's good enough? Because LSU always was the team that had a good defense but never had the right offense, and that 2019 team broke the mold. And so everybody's asking Kirby after that game, and I remember asking him a question, you know, don't you think you need an offense as explosive as that to compete in this era of college football? And he didn't deny it. Yeah. But he was just frustrated because he couldn't quite figure it out. They end up hiring Todd Monken. They figure it out. Like, maybe Ryan Day will figure it out.
Well, this is completely different, in my opinion.
Because it's the Michigan game, because it's an every year game, because it's
Ohio State is already at the finish line when it comes to how you assemble a team that can win a national title. The thing that's holding them back is a regular season game that they just lost to a bad team. Like that, it's like a rivalry.
But it's not holding this team back anymore.
No, I know.
It has no effect on this team going forward.
I'm telling you from a psychological standpoint, though, that game matters as much to Ohio State fans as winning a national title. Many of them be favorites. So,
but the thing is,
win that game.
If they have a bittersweet national title, is it?
No,
who cares?
He'll be fine. If they win the national title, he'll come back and
okay. But then the next logical question is, what if they don't?
That's the thing, and it's like, Kirby Smart wasn't like, is he going to leave town because his family's being terrorized? Like Ohio State, like the Tennessee takeover on Saturday was impressive, I think. And I even tweeted on Sunday morning, like, for as crazy as people want to call Vol fans, I think that the fierceness that they root for their team is pure and beautiful. Like, and I have a lot of respect
and the thing is, we spent a lot of time laughing at them last night because they all showed up and their team got killed.
But who else does that?
But the fact that those tickets were available to them,
that's what I'm getting,
is a telling thing.
Ohio State's hosting the first ever in program history playoff game in Ohio Stadium, and people were disinterested in going to support their team on the way to a national championship because they lost to Michigan. I'm telling you guys, you don't believe me. It is deep. It's deep here. So Ohio, and that's what makes this confusing, because Ohio State has a Michigan problem, but at the same time, they've already slayed the demon, which is building a roster good enough to win a national title, which is what you're talking about Kirby Smart's ailment was. It's in reverse.
No. Kirby Smart had the roster. He didn't have the coaching staff.
Offense.
Yeah.
The offense.
Yeah.
Or like Ohio State can beat anybody. Ohio State almost won a national title 2 years ago. They are built for this. But how do you evaluate the coach? And you whittle this whole conversation down to one question. Can Ryan Day or can anyone be Ohio State's coach if they cannot beat Michigan?
And Ryan Day can't answer that question for another 11 months. He can, however, answer the question, can he win a national title? And that's what makes this so interesting, because he may win one, and this still may be, but if he doesn't win one, then is it untenable?
Yeah, and I don't think he'll be fired. I'm with you.
I do not think so. Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know. I don't know if he'll stay. So we'll see.
Yeah. They got to play Oregon in the Rose Bowl. Going to be one of the best games of the season. Somebody's going to have to earn that one. One of those somebody's maybe Ryan Day. We'll see.